This is it. Right here. Out of the almost 1000 YouTube videos I have made, this will be my most important and emotional one. Every automotive brand has that one car that changed everything. That one car that represents the whole brand's identity. A car that created a whole movement after it was revealed. Nothing was going to be the same ever since its reveal for the brand with the 4 rings, Audi. This is my story with that one car, because now I have finally added one to my collection. So, let us do this. My life completely changed after I saw it for the first time as a concept in 2003. I was hooked, or let me just say it, I was obsessed. I will probably never ever feel the same love for any other car like what I felt for this one since the start. One proof is that I have had it as a wallpaper on all my laptops for now almost 20 years. My journey as a photographer for the brand for over 2 decades has led me on an amazing path. Today I own 3 stunning generations RS4, the B5, the B7 and the B8.5, the greatest RS6, an icon like the first generation TT, and both my 2 first cars I ever bought, the A4 B5 Turbo and the first generation Q5. I am very proud of my Audi collection. There is that one car though that I told myself when the day will come and I will find one in perfect condition, then and only then I can say I am fulfilled. So the time is now. Please buckle up as I reveal the newest addition to my Audi collection, the most important Audi ever made. And let me present to you the mighty, timeless, and iconic first generation Audi R8. With, in my opinion, without any doubt, the best engine and setup. The 4.2-liter V8 with a gated manual gearbox. Now, before we start anything, just listen. This whole story is truly amazing how everything came together, but first things first. This project here would never be possible without the people at Audi Qatar that made it all happen. It's thanks to them that I can show you the car in the fully restored condition as it is today. When I bought it now almost a year ago, it wasn't looking nor functioning very well, but it had potential. It needed love, passion, dedication, knowledge, and of course somebody who was willing to invest in it. It was a pretty low mileage one, but it hadn't been taken care of by its previous owner properly and was standing a lot in the last years. When I told some people that I'm planning to buy an original R8, Audi Qatar and Audi Middle East approached me about an idea of restoring this timeless product of the 4 rings. And a special thank you goes out to my co-dreamer in this project, Mr. Elmir from Audi Middle East, that shared the vision and pushed hard to make it happen. I guess the time was just right. We all were longing to feel that importance and the mentality to lead and not to follow. We wanted to be amazed again, and I don't think I need to explain why. It's been some rough last years. I broke it all down in my over 1-hour movie, Speak Up for Audi. Here we were motivated again. So why not take on the most important Audi ever made and completely restore it? 12 months later, and here we are. The car is now in a perfect condition. They worked on it around the clock, showing amazing passion and persistence. We were Audi again, the Audi that we know. Whatever parts were not available, I stepped in and pulled my strings of contacts I had to get them through Audi Germany. I couldn't be more thankful to all the people involved, and I can feel the love put into this icon. Some examples of parts that were repaired or completely replaced are the following: the gearbox, the clutch, the whole suspension, new brake discs and pads, and most of the engine and interior details, as well as the exterior cosmetics. The restoration was massive and it really shows. I actually just found out the other day that it had the final checkup before delivery on the 8th of December 2008. Now it drives like it drove straight out of the showroom that day. The Audi R8 truly has shaped the most part of my life. Before the reveal of the Le Mans Quattro concept back in 2003, Audi were most known for boxy design and fast station wagons. And of course their Quattro and rally heritage. I have been a huge fan of Audi since the mid-90s, so when they announced that they are going to make a supercar, I couldn't be more excited. The R8 changed everything when it finally dropped in 2006 as a production car. It was a mid-engine everyday supercar that was pretty affordable for what it was and what it competed against. Everybody wanted one. It was the hottest car out there for a long time. Some of you might think that the Quattro was more important as for its drivetrain masterpiece. Others might say it's the RS2 as the first super fast station wagon. And some might say it's the first generation TT that made the most impact because of its design. But no, none of the just mentioned had an impact like the R8 had. It took over the automotive world completely and put Audi on the map like no other car before. During all these years, I followed the R8's progress as it came into the market and shocked everyone. I had posters on my walls, always talked about it with my friends, and I was that #1 fan. Nobody could ever say any bad thing about the Audi R8. It looked like nothing else out there. It handled brilliantly and had that lovely Audi interior quality. And that gated manual gearbox was something that you could only get in Ferraris and Lambos, which were much more expensive and, let's face it, not as beautiful. I saw the R8 outrun all its competitors in different automotive tests again and again. My fandom of the car grew more and more. Imagine, I bought this white R8 as a model car 15 years ago. And who would have thought that I would own one fully sized one day? Now that's a story for you right there. Also, I had this first generation R8 as a huge poster on a wall in my apartment for 15 years. Yes, 15 long years right in front of me every day. I remember when I saw my first R8 in real life sometimes around 2008 as it arrived to my local dealer. It was still not prepared for delivery, but I begged the salesman just to have a sit in it. He was kind enough to let me do that, and I kept that photo ever since. And from the same year, I have a short phone video when I'm driving behind one with my tuned A4B5 turbo. Just listen to my reaction and you'll understand what the R8 meant for me. Are you freaking kidding me? It's an R8! This can't be real, this can't be real. The Audi R8 is the car that I have driven and shot the most out of all Audi models in my soon 2-decade-long career as a photographer and video maker for the brand. As great as the second generation is, to me it just doesn't touch the wow effect of the first one. Yes, it's much faster and on a completely different level, but what I mean is in the details. Just that side blade, for example, it can never be compared. One of my greatest moments was when I was sitting and talking to the designer of the first R8, Mr. Frank Lamberty himself. It was on a dinner with experts in the Atacama Desert in Chile back in 2018 when the new Audi Q8 was presented. I sat there, mesmerized, in awe, and listened to his story when he told me the details of him designing the original R8. We have stayed in contact ever since, and every time we have met on events after that, he asked me every single time, "So, when are you going to get a first generation R8 for your collection, my friend?" I always replied, "Frank, I am waiting for the right one. You'll be the first to know when that happens." And actually, he was the first one I sent an email to that day when I bought mine. Yes, I know, many of you are probably wondering, why not the V10? It's even more rare with a gated manual as well. There are several reasons for that, and let me explain. First one is all the V10 versions in both generations that came later were amazing. But to me, that 4.2-liter V8 with its gated manual gearbox was the first one out, and always spoke to me the most. You could ask any professional driver and he will tell you that the V8 handled better than the V10. So it was always my must-have car. Especially now when I already have the 4.2-liter V8 in my RS4 B7 and RS4 B8.5, and I know how amazing they sound. The other reason why I chose the V8 over V10 is Tony Stark. I remember as yesterday when I saw the premiere of Iron Man in the cinemas around 2007. When Mr. Stark appears for the first time in the R8, I literally stood up in the cinema and yelled, "Oh my god!" And everybody looked at me like I was insane. Another thing is, bear in mind that the R8 together with the first Audi A5 were the two cars that started the whole LED as daytime running lights madness. Today, every single car has it. Thank the R8 for that. Back then, you could see one from far, far away with its super unique angry lights approaching. I had goosebumps every single time I saw one on the streets, and I am having goosebumps right now talking about it. Now, how does the R8 drive? Smooth is the first word that comes into my mind. To be more dramatic, it needs an exhaust. It handles amazing and is so easy to throw around in corners but still remains in control. The sound of the click-click when you're shifting the gears can't compare to anything else. The 420 horses is really all that you need. It's not about the super fast 2-second acceleration to 100 like so many EVs can do today. Crazy fast acceleration is so accessible nowadays. It's about how you do it. The thrill of that V8 with you changing the gears with that gated manual is an experience on its own. The 4.5-second time to 100 is really more than you can ask for. It's about the heart and the soul of the R8 that sticks out. Let those EVs or modern hot hatches beat you. You won't care, I promise you. You will have the biggest smile on your face behind them instead. The engine is quiet and low revs, but when you hold the gears up to 8,000 RPM, it's a unique feeling and it comes alive. The only thing I wish for, as I said before, is that it would sound a bit better. Having the RS4 B7 with Miltech and the RS4 B8.5 with Capristo, I know how amazing the 4.2 can sound. I surely will put an aftermarket exhaust on this just to hear that glorious V8 some more. Now let's talk about another strong asset of the R8, and it's the interior. I absolutely love this cabin with its attention to details everywhere. The ergonomics is right there and you have everything you need. The instrument cluster is so beautifully designed and you can feel the love that went into this. It's a pleasure seeing it in front of you when you're driving. Just as with the steering wheel, the design of the door handles, the side lists, the proper and easy to use buttons and switches. This is one of the reasons I learned to love Audi, because they put so much work into the smallest detail. It's a far cry from the massive letdown of the interiors today. 1,000 touchscreens, hardly any buttons left, gear shifter turned into nibblers, downfall of quality, and the interior with zero emotion, identity and soul. Just the feeling when you touch the AC controls in the R8 screams quality. The only thing you really need to install here is a module for Apple CarPlay, and the interior is more modern than anything else today. By the way, I do have some special plans for this interior. It will be OEM, but the color in the future will be a bit different as I'm not the biggest fan of red seats. Plus, the seats are the only thing in this car now that need some love. Stay tuned for that. And for the exterior design, come on. Seriously, you cannot tell me that this isn't one of the most beautiful cars ever made. And by the way, did you notice that R8 logo in the headlights? That's also a huge reason why I love the first R8 headlights the most. They were just different. I think the timing of everything here is more than perfect. I think the automotive industry is in a huge crisis right now, and especially Audi people have forgotten what truly matters. And that's why I feel I want to represent the brand for what they have always been known for and not for what they are today, and to remind people of what Audi truly is. Just to point this out, take a look at this brand new 2026 Audi A6 C9 design next to the iconic R8. No need to say anything really. Just look. Audi knows their mistakes. They have admitted it, and with the latest Concept C, the future looks a bit brighter. Because they went back to their roots to design cars that are inspired by their most loved icons, like the R8. The discontinuation of the R8 that happened in 2024 is one of the absolute worst decisions in the automotive history by any automaker. It is unforgivable to kill your Halo car just like that. Let me say that again. Unforgivable. The design of the third generation was already done, but the people in charge decided to invest the money elsewhere and stop the production of the car that represented Audi the most. If you would ask anybody what model they first thought of when they heard Audi, it was always the R8. It was a car that everybody loved. Even the enthusiasts of other brands always showed respect for the R8. Do you maybe remember the viral tag "Want an R8" that ruled the social media a decade ago? It was one of the things that proved the Audi R8's popularity. As I have been driving the R8 in the past weeks, I get very emotional every time I get in, every time I start it up, every time I drive it and feel it, every time I lock it and just stare at it. And I have to turn around as I walk away from it. People still drool every time you pass them by. They scream "Tony Stark" sometimes. They smile. The R8 is emotion. Still, now after almost 2 decades. I would like to finish this film with a special and unique story, one that is very close to my heart. It was in the beginning of my photography career around 15 years ago, when I was still just starting up and wrote to several Audi dealers wherever I was in the world and asked for cars to shoot. One that responded was a local Audi dealer in a town I grew up in, Malmö, Sweden. The general manager, who I today still have contact with 20 years later and is one amazing person, loved my photos, and he said that they just got a brand new R8 V10 Plus as a demo car and I could take it for a shoot if I wanted. I couldn't believe what I was reading. They want to give me an R8? That's crazy. I knew I couldn't just throw myself on their most unique car directly, even though it was all I wanted. So I was respectful and I asked for something less crazy at first. I started with an A1 and later moved on to an S5 before I finally asked for the R8 a week or so later. And to make it clear, I had never driven an R8, never even started up one. I couldn't sleep the night before out of pure excitement. When the day came, I didn't want to look nervous, so I acted like I've done it 1,000 times and came looking relaxed, chilled, and received the car that I was going to have for 2 days. As I started the car and drove away slowly, looking in the mirror as the salesmen were watching me drive away, I was shaking in my whole body. As soon as I was no longer in their sight, I started to scream, hit the steering wheel, and cry out of happiness. I was driving an R8. I made it. It's a moment I will never forget. It taught me to never stop chasing your dreams and work hard for what you really want. That's why owning one today means everything. The circle for me closes. My Audi heart is completely fulfilled owning and driving this car, and I can't stop smiling. It was always you, my dear R8. It was always you. Thank you for watching.